These are dynamic times in higher education. My clients and candidates have spoken about how recent global events haven't changed the trends in higher ed, but accelerated the trends that we were already seeing. In terms of how this is affecting search, we are seeing candidates more closely scrutinize an institution's health and stability before considering a move. Candidates who are highly valued and in a stable position may be more hesitant to pursue an opportunity or engage in a public search process for fear of putting themselves at risk with their current institution. And among senior leaders, we are seeing shorter tenures. Just like this generation of students is changing, we are experiencing a generational shift in leadership. More millennials will be moving into leadership positions. This is a generation that seeks upward mobility. The expectation that a leader will stay in their role for 10 plus years is a relic of the past. All of these changes mean that hiring authorities and search committees will be encouraged to be more flexible in their thinking. I also believe it means that higher education needs to do a better job of tending to its own pipeline. Especially now, clients and committees are understandably insisting upon a diverse pool of candidates. In order to have more presidents and vice presidents that are diverse, we need more people of color and women in entry-level and middle management positions. While higher education is facing unprecedented change, there is still reason to be optimistic. At WittKieffer, we believe in the transformational nature of higher education. Similarly, our candidates know that their work changes lives. Personally, I am motivated to find the next generation of dynamic, optimistic, and motivated higher education leaders who are committed to helping universities evolve and address the challenges of today and beyond.
There are many new challenges facing the next generation of global higher education leaders. COVID-19, of course, has presented huge challenges affecting a host of areas, including education delivery and student numbers, as well as affecting university income streams around accommodation losses and conference losses. Global higher education leaders will need to rise to these challenges, but also address other major issues such as diversity, inclusivity, and social inequality. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking about the three aspects of leadership that I feel are very important moving forward. The first is around emotional intelligence. Leaders who can really engage and communicate easily, both informally and formally, with their students and colleagues, peers, parents and stakeholders, create that climate of goodwill, and it enables them to get these people to invest within the priorities of the university and also the goals and the values. Leaders who lack these communication skills and lack the empathy and humility are more likely to struggle with internal divisions and conflict, and ultimately have a lack of cohesiveness in the organisation. The second important factor that I think leads quite well on from this is around cultural intelligence. Leaders today, in my view, need to be able to possess this. It's particularly important in addressing issues of inclusion and diversity and the impacts this has on the campus climate amongst both students and staff. Inclusive leadership must involve a visible commitment and awareness of bias, curiosity about others, cultural intelligence, and collective collaboration. Lastly, our leaders need to be digitally fluent and tech savvy. We have seen higher education institutions around the world have to move at a rapid pace to online learning and remote learning, potentially changing the way we deliver education in the future. In addition, there's a wealth of information out there now about market share, population shifts, employment demand, and demographic forecasts. Leaders that are able to use this information, get a grasp of these digital platforms, and use it in their communication and teaching and research, and use this data and analytics makes it more beneficial for them in their long and short-term strategies for the institution.
The current environment in higher education brings with it enormous challenges. It's certainly not a time for the faint of heart among our leaders. We would argue that it also brings with it really exciting possibilities. First, we're seeing the recognition of the increasingly important role of innovation in education. There will be an imperative, there is an imperative to deliver education in a more flexible, accessible, and cost-effective way. And of course, this brings great possibilities for leadership. We're also seeing institutions bring people together around interesting questions that impact their future. Groups are coming together for new and unprecedented discussions that are activating the creativity of the faculty and the staff around pressing issues that their organizations must address. We certainly are also seeing the imperative to meet this historical moment and to put social and racial equity at the very top of the agenda. To that end, this time really calls for a top-down and a bottom-up re-examination of the systems and the structures on which higher education is built. The pandemic has also brought to the forefront the demands on our lives from all directions, for faculty, for staff, for students. And this calls for leaders who will bring their whole selves and their full humanity to their work. It's certainly an exciting possibility to reevaluate how institutions can take the lives of their employees and their students into fuller account.
We're finding today that leaders hope to find an institution where health and well-being are a cultural norm. This era has made people reflect on their own happiness and well-being. We are hearing from professionals that they are feeling isolated and burned out from long remote working hours, navigating new family commitments, and the social discourse in our communities. Finding new balances to our lives is increasingly more important, and employees are looking to find places that foster collaboration, communication, and an accepting working environment. WittKieffer is part of this dialogue from the moment that we meet with potential clients and candidates, to listen not only about the experiences needed, but to build trusted connections that help us find the right match for our clients. We're also finding that leaders rarely want direct climbs up the ladder. They don't want a job where they're following a strategic path that someone else has laid. They're looking for new adventures in their careers, to broaden their experiences, even though it might not lead them directly to the top. The millennial generation is not following the same career paths that their parents or grandparents did. They want a new challenge at a quicker pace, and are not afraid to move to a new job or city to find the opportunity that will lead them to the right path for their own career.